So Capcom, they just put out a new video policy concerning how and where you can use content created from their video games, their publications, all that good stuff. And it's got a lot of people kind of irked right now. So I wanted to take a look at this and kind of see what they're going at, because in the past I've talked about Nintendo and their ways of going about things with video creation for, YouTubers and whatnot, and how they kind of backed off of that, and now they don't have that Nintendo creator program anymore, which back then I had to put my videos through their system, have them approved just to be monetized on my channel. It was kind of wonky. Didn't like the way that worked. Capcom's not going to those lengths with this, but they had announced on Twitter that they have this new video policy in place. We have it opened up. We'll go ahead and take a look. There's a lot of reactions here. We may go back and look at a few of those, but here is their new policy. They also have it in a more easily readable PDF form, I suppose, if you want to print this and read it while you're on the toilet. But here we go. They state, Capcom's grateful to have such passionate and loyal fans who want to create engaging content with game footage of our titles. We encourage your creativity, or do they? And ask you follow the guidelines and below and using game footage of our titles. Please note the following guidelines only apply to intellectual property owned by Capcom. Anything with third-party titles, hit them up, figure it out. So here we go, the guidelines. Creative content. You may make walkthroughs, tutorials, let's play, speed runs, reviews, reactions, instructionals, and other commentary style videos using our gameplay footage. Now, here's the one thing on YouTube, twitch.tv, your website, whatever, right? So for all different publications. Here's the one thing that kind of annoyed me when I saw this is that almost every time I put up a video that has to do with like a new Capcom game, it either gets taken down or it gets copyright claimed by Capcom. Pretty much every time, and I've fought a few of them and have won them, and then some of them I just give up, and it's like, it's not even worth dealing with these guys. So it kind of seems like this stuff was already sort of in place. I don't know what these companies, man, but here we go. Game footage posted. You should not share game footage online without adding your own video or content unless the game console or device permits sharing of game footage. You may not split our game content into components, so rip it apart, take the visuals and use that, the vocals, in-game music, and distribute it as separate content. I understand that. Okay. Fan content may not be promoted as official Capcom content. So if you're playing like a bootleg, hacked game or something, you can't be like, hey, Capcom made this. No shit. Like who the hell ever does that, right? Unless I'm not understanding that properly. Capcom music, please note that game soundtracks songs may not be owned by Capcom. This is a problem with a lot of games because some games will have, like even older games, especially stuff from Japanese companies, they'll have music that's like from somebody else within like Japan, for example, and they own the copyright to it, and you'll make a video playing the game and there'll be like one specific track, even from older games. Even from older games, I've seen this happen, and they claim your video because of that. So, I mean, that's kind of one thing that's a little tricky to navigate with a lot of games, because a game could be like whitelisted from a company, but still have music in it that they don't have the rights to completely just for that game, right? And then somebody else can claim you if they own it. There's some, weirdos out there that wind up using them in like, music and remixes. And I had one time where I had to like talk crap to a company because they claimed a video that I was playing Super Mario Bros. 1, the Super Mario Brothers on the NES, and they claimed my video because of the music from the first stage, right? And it was like, what the hell are you guys doing? It's because they had some dumbass make a video where they made like a dubstep remix of Super Mario Bros. Theme and uploaded it through their copyright protection shit just to claim people. Like that it was scandalous, and a lot of companies do that. You can call them out on their bullshit, man. So that's that on music. So game soundtracks may not be posted or redistributed. That's kind of a given there. Audience appropriate, all fan. This is one thing people are kind of getting like weirded out by. All fan created content should be appropriate for the audience of the Capcom game. For example, if you take game content that's for a younger audience and make it objectionable, we reserve the right to take it down. So it's up to their discretion. If you're playing like a game with Mega Man, you're like, damn, look at that tight ass, because you're into Mega Man ass. I don't freaking know. Capcom could take your video down. Like, I mean, yeah, it's kind of just a weird example, but seriously, that's up to their discretion. There's nothing in here that specifies any, like, all these agreements and guidelines, they're always not very specific. Spoilers: posting any or unauthorized disclosure of game content prior to the game's release, strictly prohibited. But that's bullshit too, because I've played Capcom games in the past, and that was the reason given to me, even though the game had launched like that day or the day before. Video's still taken down. So I don't know if you follow me. I don't play too much Capcom newer stuff anyway on my channel, even though there's a lot of stuff I like. And it's because of this stuff, man. They make it to where, what the hell's the point if I'm going to produce a video with your game in it and I risk you guys just taking it down anyway? And it was before all this, so I just kind of stopped. You know what I mean? Older stuff I do, but not too much newer stuff with these guys, because you just don't know. No commercialization. We do not allow Capcom content, other materials used to make money, except through the permissible monetization described below. You may not limit to paid access, sell, or license your content that includes our game content to others for payment of any kind. In particular, we do not allow you to create new content using our game if a paid subscription is required for people to access our specific content. That was a mouthful. Now, I don't do this, and I know some people do. I don't do this, but there be people who lock their videos behind, like, Patreon as example. I don't care what anybody thinks of that. I know what I think about it, and I don't do it. But if other people do it, that's their business. I don't care. Is that like what they're referring to as well? Or, like, I mean, yeah, you could have a paid subscription on your website to access videos. And if it's Capcom games, they'd be like, dude, we're taking you down. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. So what else do they have there? We do not allow you to create content using, yeah, the game. Okay, the paid subscription shits. Permissible monetization. You may monetize through partner programs like YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, or other video sharing sites, collecting voluntary contributions such as through Super Chat and YouTube bits on Twitch, as long as your video is available for free to the public. So yeah, they kind of are not specifying, but they kind of are specifying that with the permissible side of it. Like, as long as the videos are up for free and there's no paywall, like, you can collect money on it. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Some people won't be. But there's a lot of stuff here to not be fine about. Pre-release content, any posting or disclosure unofficially released, unauthorized, or leaked video strictly prohibited. Any publishing in-game content from sources such as, but not limited to, leaked copies. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty typical. I'm not against that. I get it. If you get if you're not authorized to have, like, an early copy, or there's, like, you know, a lot of YouTubers deal with stuff like that, an embargo on a game. You're not allowed to produce content or publish content. Like, you can produce it, just don't publish it until a specified date and time. That makes sense. If you get a leaked copy, you steal it, whatever, like, they can go after you. Okay, I get it. I get it. People will not get it, but some people will get it. I get it. What else did they have here? Allow usage of or promotion of third-party programs, hacking, cheating that circumvent protections of Capcom titles. Not allow Capcom content to be uploaded to a platform for which rights have not been granted, such as creation of Twitch emotes featuring Capcom content. No Mega Man emotes. You're not allowed to do it. Inappropriate content. Using Capcom titles to create videos, other content, including mods. That's illegal, racist, sexist, prejudicial to sexual orientation, sexually explicit, disparaging, promotes hate crimes, or otherwise offensive is not tolerated. On a case-by-case basis, Capcom reserves the right to take down inappropriate or objectionable content at their discretion. Now, I don't really have an issue with what they're saying here, but at the same time, some of this stuff could be really up for interpretation. I mean, there's going to be things that are clearly racist, clearly sexually explicit, and they say that's a no-go, and that's fine. I think most people would agree with that. But there's going to be some things part of this that could be just really up for interpretation. It's an ever-evolving world, man, and it's kind of hard for them to give specific examples for all this stuff, but this could really create a big gray area. Not for every category that's listed there. Like I said, some things will be very obvious, but then some things could be misinterpreted, and that could cause some issues. So, there's that part. Not tolerated, dude. Video capture of publications, so printed or digital books, you cannot show that stuff. And I think this part kind of sucks because they're talking about uh, such as but not limited to comic books, strategy guides, collector's edition art books. Capcom publications are prohibited. However, and this is the bullshit part in my opinion, you may use Capcom publications and unboxing videos provided that no specific content inside that publication is displayed. So say you get a collector's edition game and it comes with like an art book. Like I usually, if I get that kind of stuff, I'll kind of leaf through it a little bit, not dwell too long on a single page. And it's not like it's a perfect scan where, you know, you could take that image from my video and print it and you got a perfect, you know, reproduction of that book. Never is that the case for me and most people who do this kind of content. Like I said, I'll just leaf through it a little bit, maybe look at a couple pages real quick, but leave it up to you if you're buying that edition to look through it yourself, but just give you a taste, a little, you know. And it seems like with the way they're talking here is that's prohibited. You can't fucking do that, dude. And that's kind of annoying. That's definitely annoying. So a lot of people like will buy stuff like that for purpose of making a video, and now it's just like, oh, here's the fucking book, dude. Buy it and look at it. Like people would be like, oh, are there, you know, interviews in there? What's the art? You know that kind of thing. You can't leaf through it. Like that's at least the way I'm interpreting this. You can't like open it and be like, oh, here's a couple pages real quick. There's 200 pages here. I'm going to show you 2 pages to give you an idea of what the contents are. You can't do that. That's kind of crazy, dude. Reservation. Failure to abide by these content guidelines may result in Capcom taking action to have your video content removed. Capcom reserves the right to change these policies at any time and for any reason, obviously. Please note that this policy is not exhaustive, and we reserve the right to object to any use of Capcom materials and to remove such objectionable content at their sole discretion. Please note this policy is a guideline for using game footage of our titles, not intended to be, nor should it be considered express permission nor an official license to authorize you to create mods or derivative work of their titles. Also, please note that we are unable to address individual requests for clearance, so feel free to share the link to this video policy with anyone requesting details. If you receive a claim through Capcom, and you believe it's an error, submit a notice to. Yeah, I've done that before and they don't respond, dude, or they just stick to their guns. But you know, so a lot of people, like I said, they're kind of up in arms over this. And if you look through like Generational Gamer here, okay, buying your game, stream or record for my channel are no longer worth it. Great. At least Nintendo stopped with the heavy-handed requirements. I rarely play modern games you make anyway. My last stream was Street Fighter 2 on the Switch. Exactly. Like what's going to happen with all that? Like this is just crazy, dude. Like there's people here that are for it. There's people who are against it. There's people who are kind of like in the middle to where I'm at. I'm kind of in the middle where I understand the core of it, but then it just leaves way too much to be open to interpretation at their sole discretion. And this is what causes issues with a lot of these things. So we'll have to see. Like this person right here, I'm no lawyer, but this looks pretty positive. Basically says, feel free to use our games. As long as you don't just take raw game footage, are aware that not all soundtracks belong to Capcom. It makes sense, and I understand what this guy is saying, and I agree on those parts of it. But then, you know, there's the counterpoints that interpretation, except long plays are often raw game footage. You should not share game footage online without adding your own video or content unless the game console or device permits sharing of footage. But then that could even be like a gray area. You just upload raw footage, just a playthrough, but you're not talking. Like that's not like adding anything to it. It's your gameplay, but it's their game. They could still claim it that you just uploaded raw footage. Somebody else, I don't remember who on here, but somebody said, well, what about like there's streamers and content creators who, you know, can't speak, that kind of thing, but maybe they'll still be on camera. Some people are, some people aren't. There's a whole community of, you know, streamers and whatnot that have those things going on where they can't speak or whatever, right? So if you can't speak, but you still produce content for an audience, but you verbally can't put anything out there, could they claim that? It's just all up to interpretation here. Their sole discretion. So I think that's kind of crazy where this could go. We'll have to wait and see. But for me, it does kind of push me away from wanting to do content on newer Capcom titles. And that's unfortunate. Like, I think as long as you're not doing anything crazy, should be fine. Like, I still plan on doing content on like the new Ghosts and Goblins or whatever when that comes out. But then at the same time, you have this worry, like, is this going to be an issue? I still want to do it, and I probably will, typically the content that I make shouldn't be any issue with their policy here, but you just never know. Like I said, I've had issues with Capcom in the past with the way they've claimed my videos. So I just don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think on this, especially if you're a content creator? Is this all right? Is this just way too much like up to interpretation for Capcom, which is typically the way these companies go about these things? They got to have everything in their favor. And I mean, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think down below. Really do appreciate it. I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Bye-bye and boom. Bye.